JoshCast, dun 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 dun. Oh, it's the podcast that should have been dun 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 cancelled. And fortunately, when all bum 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 bum, the internet is deemed censored dun 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 by the administration, it will mean this gets cancelled. Dun 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 dun. JoshCast, dun 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 dun. All right, I'm frustrated because I feel like I'm getting laughs. Like how did Bill Burr describe it? Bill Burr described it for him. He said there was a period where he wasn't bombing, but he wasn't killing either, and that's exactly where I feel like I'm kind of, I'm not horrible, but not really knocking it out of the park. And I just keep thinking that maybe that means that, and as I'm saying that I'm knocking on wood, I don't know why I'm knocking on wood there. Usually I only knock on wood when I'm doing well, when I feel like I'm doing great, then I knock on wood. But in this particular case, I don't feel like I'm doing well, so knocking on wood implies I don't want to continue not doing well. So if it's possible to take back the knocking on wood, I will do that. Thank you. I don't know who I'm talking to when dealing with the knocking on wood. But at any rate, yes, not bombing, but not killing. And I think that the reason why I'm not killing is because I'm not... I just wonder if I'm not going deep enough somehow, if I'm not revealing, and maybe what I'm doing, I question whether or not my writing right now is really, really as solid and as powerful as it needs to be. And I just don't know if that's me being too hard on myself, but that is how I feel. And but reveal, what more to reveal? I mean, I'm sick of talking about the fact that I lost my virginity when I was 32, what's under that? Why did it take me so long? Because I'm here recording a podcast alone in my room instead of going out on a date with someone and planting the seeds of a divorce. I think that's probably that says it right there. I don't get out there. I don't get out enough. But I'm not convinced that even if I did get out there enough that I would be any better off. What did my mom say once? I was told her I felt alone, and she said that even people who are in relationships feel alone, and that is how she finds the silver lining. I'm also noticing right now as I'm talking that my neck was getting tense, and my head was kind of bobbling, and I'm trying to not do that as much so I can be more centered in my experience, so that I can be rooted and I can be grounded, and I can be more focused on what I'm trying to say, and more in my body. And what my body is saying is, I need a woman, a beautiful woman who doesn't mind driving. It'd be great if she drove. I'd love that. She can drive as much as she wants. That would be phenomenal. I don't like driving. I think it's scary. I'm always afraid I'm going to do something wrong or something bad is going to happen. I would much rather not be driving. Transition. Okay, so here's what's on my mind. Reading a CNN article, they're interviewing a guy in Austria who is part of their version of the alt-right, white nationalist, and he's described as a white nationalist hipster. And as soon as I saw that, my heart leapt a little, I got to be honest with you, because the idea of a white nationalist hipster, I find that amusing somehow. What do I find amusing about it? I think it's it's taking pure evil and adding hipster. And that's what, there's just something about pure evil that loves plaid that tickles me. Now, this person in the interview maintains that they are not evil, that they believe in nonviolent protests, and that they're not anti-Semitic. That's what he's saying. Of course, he could be saying that because he knows he's talking to an interviewer. I'm not sure, but he just basically believes that he doesn't want white people to become the minority in Austria. And I have a feeling that would be, even if all the immigrants went to Austria, all those immigrants would still be in the minority because Austria is pretty white. I would think. But he's afraid that immigrants will come in and that the culture of Austria, the dominant culture of Austria, will be subsumed, and the culture will disappear. And I don't have any idea what he's talking about with that. I don't know what that means. It's, with a bunch of Jews move into a Christian neighborhood, it's, we're not cutting down on Christmas. If anything, that could be good for a neighborhood because we can provide much needed services on Christmas while Christians are celebrating Christmas. Who else would be there to eat at all those Chinese restaurants? Excellent question. We are providing a valuable need. I just think immigration's a great thing. I think cultural melting pots are a great thing. I really do believe it's good to have different cultures mixing together because sometimes you don't know how nuts you are until you see a group of people who are actually not nuts, and you go, this doesn't have to be this way. Oh, there are other ways of existing that perhaps aren't as insane. Isn't that something? Isn't that profound? Transition. I was debating whether or not to submit for the colleges. Comedians very often will go and perform at colleges, and it's odd. What I like about the idea of the money because they're good paying gigs, but you have to be very, very clean, and I can't be political, and I can't talk too much about sex. That part's not such a big deal because I don't know that much. I mean, I've read a lot and I've seen the movies, but in terms of actual experience, it is quite limited. But I decided not to go for it because that's not what I want to be talking about. What I want to be talking about is, what do I want to be talking about? What do I want to be talking about? Maybe that's the problem. I feel like I know I need to be revealing, but is that really what I want to be talking? What am I revealing? What's going on emotionally underneath everything? What is going on emotionally underneath everything? What's going on? I am lonely. It would be nice to be with. It would be nice to be with someone who I could come home to and they would say, there, it's going to be okay. That would be nice. And someone who I can sleep with, that would always be pleasurable. I mean, I don't I imagine to be pleasurable. I don't think I need much, once a week, maybe once a month. I don't think I'm I can adapt to whatever your needs are. But then again, this is very, shallow. What's deeper than that? It would be nice to have someone with whom I can be myself. I feel like I'm so not myself in front of most people. I feel like I'm always putting on the show of being diplomatic when I really I'm really just kind of a 6-month-old baby. That's really what I am, I think, when I'm alone. Just rage and tears. Those are kind of the two extremes. And then I have to just put a lid on that when I'm out in public. And it would be nice. Maybe that's what I want. Maybe what I want in a woman is someone who will be patient with me as I throw a temper tantrum and not leave me. And that's my biggest fear, is that they're not going to want to handle my temper tantrums. Because right now, even for this podcast right now, I still feel like right now I'm putting on a show because I'm talking very methodically and very intellectually, and you would think listening to it that I sound like someone who did not take their keys and throw them against the ground because they got a B in their college acting class and it caused the mercury to spill because I had a thermometer on my keys and the mercury spilled and the whole dorm smelt of mercury for a couple of weeks. That probably caused some kind of brain damage. But I don't I don't know that I gotta stop putting on the show. Maybe that's what I'm trying to find on stage. I feel I'm still putting on a little bit of a show up there, and I've got to stop that and just be not putting on the show at all, and kind of go from how I really feel about things. And how I really feel about things is, I think when a white nationalist says that immigration is a bad thing, I think that he's just politely trying to be mean, and that it is racism. You can couch it in civility, and you can make whatever logical explanation you want to make for it. But I think ultimately it is leading towards a very dark path, and that what is better for the world is total integration, and that we all have to recognize that we're all the same, we're all one people, and that our similarities are bigger than our differences. And I think what bothers me is that just seems so self-evident. Why is that so hard for people? Probably because they hate themselves, so they're just taking it out on everybody else. Self-hatred. That's really the root of this. It's self-loathing. Misdirected anger. Self-loathing, misdirected at other people. Self-loathing. That's the problem. And I can relate to self-loathing, so I guess I shouldn't be judging the white nationalist, because I have self-loathing too. I just manifest it differently than the white nationalist. I, instead of hating other people, try to convince other people to also hate me, and I feel like that's way more productive. This is the end of the podcast, the end of the podcast, and the children sing and the children play. This is the end of the podcast.